A few hundred years ago, there was a Jew named Reb Nisim that lived in the north by the Galil in the Kinneret. He was well known in all of Israel for his miraculous pomegranate tree. Indeed, he would sell off the pomegranates each year from this tree, and people rumored that it had major curative healing powers. And with the parnasa, the money he would make from selling off his pomegranates, he was able to sustain his family for the entire year. He would wait until after Tisha B'Av, the 3 weeks of mourning that concludes on the day of Tisha B'Av when the two temples were destroyed. And only after that would he pick the fruits, start by giving the bikurim, the first fruits, to the priest, and only then start selling them off. And indeed, on that first Shabbos, Shabbos Nachmu, the Shabbos of consolidation, he would partake of his first bite of the pomegranates. One year, he was shocked when he looked up at the tree, and during a period when usually there would be showing fruits and leaves, it was still bare, completely barren. He waited, and finally at the pass of Tisha B'Av, as usual, he looked to collect the first fruits. Looking up at the tree, there was still not a pomegranate in sight. Nevertheless, hopeful, he sent his 13-year-old son, his bar mitzvah age son, up the tree to look for pomegranates. After a long tense silence, finally it was broken. "Dad, I found one. And one more. And one last one. 3 in total." As usual, people came from far and wide, his loyal customers, only to be dismayed when they found out from Nisim that he had not enough to sell. They offered higher and higher and higher prices, and when they saw that it was to no avail, many even reserved by giving money for the following year, with faith that God would provide this miraculous tree fruit in the coming year. Nevertheless, as usual, Nisim sat on that Shabbos, the first Shabbos after Tisha B'Av, and he cut into 2 of the pomegranates, and he gave to his family and to the entire community to make blessings, those who were available and those who were there. And he saved the 3rd for the New Year of the Trees, Tu B'Shvat. He had an issue, though. Not only did he need the money that would have come from all these pomegranates for the year to come, he also had a daughter of marriageable age that many great Torah scholars were looking to marry. Nevertheless, he had not enough money for a dowry. His wife bothered him, pleaded, "Sell that one pomegranate, or at least go abroad and tell them you're from Israel and you need help. You have a daughter to marry, I'm sure they'll help you." Eventually, her constant pleas got the better of him, and he did indeed take off to go abroad to Europe and the like to try and raise money. Nevertheless, he did not like the idea of requesting money and telling that he was from Eretz Yisrael. Indeed, he loved being in Eretz Yisrael. It was a blessing to be there, and he didn't want to discourage others who had the dream of living there by telling them of his woes. So, as a result of not telling them he's from Eretz Yisrael, he received some money, but not much. Finally, he found himself in the city of Istanbul, and little did he know, but there was a major calamity unfolding at that time. The Sultan's son had gotten deathly ill, and he blamed the Jewish community for it. He said if they did not find a cure for his son, he would probably kick them all out, if not worse. Everyone was on edge. People were fasting and praying, and no one knew what to do. Nisim walked into one of the synagogues, and he prayed the morning service, and at the conclusion of the service, he saw the Gabbai standing before him. The Gabbai, the attendant of the shul, asked him, "Are you by chance from Eretz Yisrael, the land of Israel?" Nisim was shocked. How could anyone know? He had normal garb on. He said, I am, but how did you know? He says, "Oh, it's not me. We have a great rabbi here." He knew. He says, "And he's asked to see you." Nisim walks over to the rabbi, introduces himself, tells him he's from the Galil, from the north of Israel. And he says, "Did you know I was from Israel because of the smell of the pomegranate I have?" The rabbi's eyes lit up. He says, "We are on the day of Tu B'Shvat, the New Year of the Trees, and last night, as is customary in the Sephardic custom, I opened up the Seder, the order of honoring the trees with all the different fruits, and I began studying deeply about all the different types of fruits. And suddenly I came to rimonim, pomegranates, and the word just stuck in my mind. No matter what I tried to do, I couldn't move on. Rimonim, rimonim. And finally, it was revealed to me that this word rimonim was an acronym. God was trying to tell me something. Refuat melech ubeno. Nisim yavi meira. The word rimonim was an acronym saying that the speedy recovery of the king and his son, miracles or nisim, would bring speedily. He says, and now you come and you're from Eretz Yisrael, and you have a pomegranate from Eretz Yisrael, and your name is Nisim. He says, please will you join me in going to the Sultan? You are our Savior. God is about to perform miracles through you. Nisim, meaning miracles. Indeed, Nisim went with him. As they arrived, the Sultan was desperate. Please do anything you can. He does not look good, my son. The rabbi cut the pomegranate in half, took the seeds and began to squeeze them into juice, and slowly dripped drops into the mouth of the boy. From completely being pale and immobile, he started to move. Finally, he started to regain color, and before you know it, he was sitting up and speaking. It was a miracle. Nisim's miraculous pomegranates had done even more than anyone could have ever imagined. Indeed, the Sultan was so happy. He said, reward this man by giving him gold in the weight of the boy. Thankfully, the boy was quite large. Nisim had more than enough money. He turned to the rabbi as they left, both content in spirit and in heart. And he said, don't worry, Rabbi. It's Tu B'Shvat, and I've saved the other half of this miraculous pomegranate for you and I to enjoy.